Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Friday, November 4th, and we are wrapping up what is a pretty crazy week in the markets. Definitely a lot of volatility this week compared to previous weeks. We have neutral to bullish sentiment for Ethereum and Bitcoin. A lot of coins tipping into bullish territory. We have a few in bearish, but definitely good signs for potential continuation this weekend. Let's go ahead and dive in. So starting with equities, we had a boost overnight for equities into the morning that was clipped shortly after the open, and we are now, or shortly after the open. So we are near yesterday's close again. And we are fighting at basically a pretty solid support level right around 3,700. So if 3,700 fails, then we are likely headed down to 3,650. And I would expect, 3,680 to 3,650 to hold at least in the near term. I don't expect this to break prior to the weekend, but we will definitely have to see what happens on Sunday. This does look like it may hold, but of course, 3680, 3650 will act as supports if it does break down there. We did grow very oversold, and of course, we're still hovering around that level. We still have the macro uncertainty ahead of us. So this is not exactly a chart that I would want to long, but definitely would like to see how it reacts to this 3650 to 3680 level. As we can see, there's a lot of liquidity at 3680. There's also a lot of liquidity at 3600 if this falls farther, and 3,600 is right around where our lows were for October. So no clear read on equities. I have a feeling this will be in more or less a holding pattern until we open on Sunday and head into next week. Remember, CPI is on Thursday, so that'll be the next kind of weather vane for equities. Looking at Bitcoin, we rose, with equities overnight into all the way to 21.3, which is where I had resistance drawn prior. I was wrong, and I did expect, Bitcoin to maybe hover around the lower end of the range or potentially just the 21K range. And we did boost higher, but we were immediately rejected, tweezer top hourlies straight back under 21K. We're now above the VWAP, which is about 20.7K, which has been an important number. So if we can hold 27K and get above 20.9K, then we can attack 21.4 again. But we have to firmly close above 20.7, then we have to firmly close above 20.9, and then we can talk about that again. Else you're stuck in basically the 20.9 to 20K range, or we could potentially extend that range out to 21.3 now. So bulls definitely want to see this hold around the VWAP and see that equities not fall further. If equities fall further, it will make it a lot harder for Bitcoin to rise. We are, of course, very oversold. Last time we've been this oversold, we've always come back down to the lower end of the range. That's something important to note. We don't really have any bullish catalysts for the weekend. So if you are bullish, again, we need to hold above 20.7. If we don't hold above 20.7, it's pretty much 20.5, 20.4 again. And if we lose 20.4, then you're back down to 20K pretty easily. For Ethereum, looking a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, tagged that 1660 level to perfection. Again, I was wrong. Thought we'd be in more of a holding pattern. We did have a bit of a breakout last night. We have to understand that, there's probably a lot of people that want to get bullish into the weekend. We are, of course, oversold again. Each time that's happened, we've either consolidated for a full day or we've come back down to reset RSI. So setting expectations here. If we can close above 1620, then we can maybe get back to 1660, where you need to close above 1660 to get up to pretty much near 1700, pretty much 1700, 1710 next resistance level. If you can close above 1620, again, 1660 and then higher. If you close below 1620, then you're pretty much back at 1580. And then, 1580 to 1560 should act as solid support, considering top of the range here and here. And then if you lose 1560, then you're back down to 1500 pretty easily. And we could just be in a 1500 to 1630 range. Of course, we need to see how things close above 1620 again. Oversold, no bullish catalyst. Equity is not looking very strong. Crypto with a big volatile pop after we had catalysts back here. So definitely something to take with a grain of salt. If we look at sentiment, still very neutral, not, it is neutral to bullish for Bitcoin with increased trading volume and increased tweet volume. This is what you want to see, but having neutral sentiment still worries me. And then Ethereum sentiment is still neutral to bearish. Of course, definitely would like to see this, hold in bullish territory before saying we're going to see bullish continuation. We could definitely move into bullish territory throughout the day. So that's something to look out for continuation. But right now, I don't want to long, just based on what the technicals look like. I would wait for this to flush out for several hours, see how we tackle 20.7, see how we consolidate under 20.9, and then get after it. Or potentially short a retouch of 20.9 if it's unable to break up and above that. I definitely, am feeling some of the bullish, narratives right now, but still with uncertainty, no catalyst, and equities looking weak. It's not anything that I would like to very much long over the weekend, but of course we do know our core numbers, 20.7 and 20.9 for Bitcoin, and then 1620 and 1660 for Ethereum for continuation. So we will continue to update the Trade the Chain community morning, afternoon, and night to everything that goes on. If you're not in there, that's where you're missing out. And we will update everybody if anything crazy happens over the weekend. I'm not entirely predicting, we break, these core resistance levels over the weekend. Typically low volume, lower action, but we could end up seeing some volatility if equities end up closing a little bit stronger. If equities can get above this VWAP, 37, 36, then there's a pretty good bullish continuation narrative to be had for crypto. But if equities cannot get above the VWAP and this 50-day moving average, it's going to be tough sledding for crypto over the weekend, in my opinion. So good luck, happy trading. Talk to everybody on Monday.